Hello and welcome to the Home and Learn video course for visualbasic.net. I'm Kenny Carney and let's see where are we up to in the course. We're on subs and functions, this section 10. That's what we're doing. So what is a function? What is a sub? Well, subs and functions, they're separate segments of code that you create to do a particular job. These separate segments of code, you can then reuse them whenever you want. They also help you cut down on code duplication. I'll show you what I mean by that. Let me get the code window up. Where's the code window? There we go. If you can see in the previous lesson, I kept doing this, like file name, file path, and when I created another button, did exactly the same. So I've got the same code here, and I've got the same code there. I think that was it, wasn't it? No, yeah, the same code there as well. So instead of writing that same code over and over again, I can create a sub or a function for it. And in fact, you've already used subs and functions. Let me find the message box. There's a message box show, and can you see that function message box? So you've used a function and you've already used a subroutine. Let me find one. I think copy is a subroutine. Sub. There it is, sub. And I think there was one more. Delete. Yeah, delete is also a sub. Oh, let us do some programming. If you create a new project, let me close that solution. Delete project. What should I call it? I will do subroutines first. So sub lesson, I'll call it that. And what should we do? Make this form a little bit bigger. Start position, the center. And I'm going to be adding, say, 3 buttons, but for now I'll just put button 1 if you leave it on the defaults. And let me just type out that I always like space here. Yeah, let me type it here. Right, so function. This is the difference between a function and a sub. So function returns a value. Appreciate this might not make a great deal of sense at the moment, but it will soon once you start writing your own sub. So function returns a value, sub does not return a value. It just gets on and does its own job, if you like. You don't have to worry about getting any return value. And suppose I had a message box here. Message box dot show. And I want to say error is curd. How do you spell a curd? Yeah, that's close enough. Right. Now let me add another 2 buttons. There's button 2, button 3. Back to code 2. Alright, suppose button 2 also needs to display a message box. I also need, suppose it's the same error. And error as code. Same for number 3. Suppose number 3 also needs to display that same error. Show and error as a code. Right, so now I've got all these 3 buttons doing exactly the same thing. And in your own code, if you see this kind of thing, where each button has to perform exactly the same thing, and it's a clear sign that you need some kind of subroutine or function. So let's create a sub. This is how you create them. You start off with the word private, It's not essential, but we'll do it private, just like the buttons. It means exclusive to this particular class, private. Then you want the word sub, just like for the button. Then you need a name. You need to come up with a name, and it's just like coming up with a name for a variable. Almost call it anything you want. Let's call it error check. And we'll start with a pair of empty round brackets. But you'll see soon, probably in the next lesson, that you can also put something between those round brackets. So after you do that, if you press the enter key, it will give you an end sub, just like buttons, private sub, end sub, and you've got your own private sub, end sub. So this is a separate segment of code. I can, for all these message boxes, I can delete all of these message boxes and put them here. Well, just one. Right, so now button 3 has got nothing, and I'll delete this one here, and I'll delete this here. Right, so there's my private sub routine. I'll just put a message box there. I've only got just the one. Well, let me start this form so you can see. Start without debugging. You can see nothing happens if I click these buttons. Nothing happens. What happened to that sub? Well, the reason nothing happened is because we haven't called it into action. So you need to call your private subs or functions, and the way you do it, it's just, you can use the word call, but you don't have to. In other words, call a specific subroutine. I like to put call error check. Where's it gone? Error check, and you need those round brackets. And you can do the same here. Let me do it without the round brackets, without the call. Error check. And this one. Error check. I think error check. So every time I click this button, it's going to call this error check subroutine. Button 1, I've displayed the message. Button 2 is also called that function, and button 3 is also called that subroutine rather. And go back. So we've created a private subroutine, a private sub, and it does a particular job. It just displays this message box, and I can call that private sub into action with the word call or without it. I need the name of the function and any round brackets, and that's a simple subroutine. I think we'll leave it there, and in the next section you'll see how to put something in between these round brackets, and we'll add up a simple add private sub. I will see you in the next video.